I'm not going to lie to you. There we
Okay.
go.
All right.
Go ahead, Coach.
Hello, everybody. Dale Pinkert here with TradeGATEHub. Some people call me Coach, mainly traders. We have Gordon Gecko live with us today. There he is. Gordon, I just got a note from my producer that Gordon can't make it. He got a hernia picking up his phone. So stepping up to replace Gordon today is my trading warrior brother, Michael Venezia. So Michael, good to be with you today. And remember those phones?
I remember, you know what? My dad had one, but I was one of the early ones to have a phone. I'm not going to lie, but
Yeah,
you could get a hernia with that thing. I mean, it weighed more than it cost, and it cost about $5,000 at that point.
Yeah, you could do curls with it, everything, a lot of multi-uses. So, I listen to your streams because I learned from you. And, I heard something that caught my interest yesterday during your broadcasts.
Yes.
When you were going over all your indicators and, showed that things were pretty neutral. But one comment you made, you follow what hedge funds are doing.
I do.
And you were talking about, hedge funds, they're not that long, but that's not that bearish. You would like to see the hedge funds have short positions. So are hedge funds a contrarian indicator for you?
They are.
Huh.
And
a lot of lousy managers, huh?
Well, that's no disrespect. I mean, I can be June 21. Let me just correlate a chart here. Yeah, I'm the same way to a degree. It's a herd mentality, and the herd in this game really never wins. And that's why we always put up RSIs and, in contra indicators. And I'm not the guy that, if the New England Patriots are playing, the Rockville Center High School, that I think they're going to lose. They think they're going to beat them because they're a 100-point underdog. I'm not going to that extreme.
Yeah.
But you want hedge funds to be short, because hedge funds basically make up the majority of the volume in the market. That's arguable. I still do think so. So when they're all short and they get caught short, from my opinion,
a lot of people wrong. All the funds are wrong-footed then.
Well, then everybody has to cover. And quite honestly, I short as well, but it's a tough game. And it just boiled down to numbers. How many of the top 500 fund managers are short based?
Mainly long only.
Okay, so there you go. So that says something.
Yeah.
And you just go pull a chart of the Dow. You go back every 10 years, you go back to the Dow. It looks like the line is more parabolic on almost a 45-degree angle. So the bottom line to the answer is, yeah, you want everybody short. I mean, don't hedge funds, or the majority of them for a rule, have to be invested to some point? So if they're all short and they're invested, say 60 or 70%, or say, they have to cover. And this is my indicator here. This is right. And I do post these. Hedge funds spit up a little bit.
Right.
And what? They sold and they flinched. And that's why we're up. If you looked right here, they had no interest. Right. But then when the moment they went all in is the moment we pulled back. Just correlate this chart right here when they weren't invested in June 21.
Yeah. I mean, in the fall too.
Yeah. It correlates to the S&P. And listen, I'm not, I do look at intermediate risk term levels. Also, you can correlate the top part of the chart to being the bottom, which is sentiment. But Sharpies is what you want to be the most, you want to go where the sharp money is. So if you look here, every time, they spit up right here, the market comes down. Every time they spit up, the market came down. This is a little bit antiquated. This was a yesterday, but
you were also talking about something else. One of your indicators that you follow in the morning that just showed that it was staying down too long. That even if there was a rally, you were becoming a little concerned. Is that it? That it's staying down here too long?
Yes, you will. And if you could correlate. If you could correlate the SPX going back to October 31st, you could see, and I'll show you. Hold on, if I will. Let me just put this chart up. And just remember, when we were oversold for this many days in December as we were in October, you just got to correlate the chart. And the tactical in October, we were right here. And this is where we were selling off, bouncing back and oversold. And we're doing the same thing now here. And this is October, see the October, and this is December where we are. So the bottom line is we've been bouncing back with these dead cat bounces, just like we did in October. So, it's yet to see. Tactical sentiment, in which I post every day, is the more real time. You want to play a bounce for short-term move. This is the one. Fear and
Okay.
greed over time, obviously, is one that I posted after that for everybody to keep in mind. But what held me back, and I actually sold yesterday's close. I'm not going to lie, and I shouldn't lie. But the bottom line is, and I did that because the NASDAQ sentiment wasn't completely I wanted to be here. I think NASDAQ sentiment going back as today is probably going to be up here. So I'm going to start fading a little bit of a rally. S&P futures here. I mean, let's go today. We closed. Oh, you know what? This is the old one. Hold on. Bear with me. This is this morning. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is
So it's
this is
coming
where we
off.
closed today,
right.
last night.
Okay.
We're probably
it's
up
gonna be-
here.
Right.
So we went from oversold to overbought with literally maybe
In 2
25.
days. Now that doesn't usually happen. I want to talk about that. You talk about, you don't get nervous unless VIX is trading 30 or higher, and we only did that for a day. Why is 30 your threshold for becoming concerned and not 20 and not 40? Why 30?
That's a fair question, and I'm going to go. Maybe I'll be even hypocritical here, and I'll go to the masses. It seems like everybody. It seems just like that's the whole number that everybody watches, give or take
Yeah.
a point and a half or two. But
Yeah.
go back a daily chart. Let's go back to a weekly chart. This just 30 area just seems to be things might go to extreme and go to 35 or 36, but even going back here, 30.
Yeah.
It seems like 30 is the area. And, obviously, COVID got extreme, but I certainly didn't think that, I did my research, and you got to be in tune to the news, and the COVID fear, as the fears dissipated, especially in South Africa, waned.
Yeah.
The VIX should have been a lot higher. And
there's a lot of volatility in the VIX. I know it's for it to go from 15 to 35 and back to 22, the VIX is volatile.
Well, I understand.
It used to be a sleeping Rumple, what was that? Rip Van Winkle. The VIX, went to sleep for 20 years.
Right.
So there's, these spikes in volatility. Do they say anything to you about market structure? That that the market VIX could go from 15 to 32 and
back to 27
basically and then back to 22 in matter of 2 weeks, a round trip like that. What's that mean?
That means that people don't know what to do. And
Okay.
I'll give you a perfect example of somebody I follow on a Twitter feed. I actually posted it this morning, and he was right. And this is why we're making this move this morning, in my opinion. And it's right here. The challenge of this market is that you have taken a defensive action. You probably are not well positioned for a bounce.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. I'm not. I sold. Listen, I made the hard money. I was the guy stepping in when they were trying to capitulate, and I sold the close. And right now, the futures what were they up 60, maybe 50 handles yesterday?
Yeah.
And I had to sweat through they did the up open, and then they did the dip to get you out, and then the rip. Now today I'm looking at the futures are up 91 handles. I'm not involved heavily. I mean, as I say before, I have 3 accounts. My, the TradeView long-term account is up nicely, and the options account are up nicely. But my active account, like I said in yesterday's video, I'll even go to this one. Where are we? Let me go to my charts. I mean, I bought ZI yesterday right here. I look like I was the only one in the country buying this thing. I took a stab at the 200-day, the green being the 200-day at 56. I sold it yesterday at 59, thought I was a hero, and the stock hit 64 today. And I'll do this, another one I took a shot in. I took a shot in PTLO, right here where that line is where I took a stab. 35.28. I sold it yesterday at 37. Now the stock went to 38, 39 today. Another one. I'll even show you my Lebu trades.
Yeah.
We'll go back 2 days if I will. Let's go back a week.
Yeah.
And these were my trades. And I'm just because I want people to learn. My trades apply. For some reason, they only applied today. I'm actually short a little Lebu as you speak, but I was the only one in America buying it at 32. And I sold it yesterday at the close at 35. Now it's 39. So what do? Now you have to keep your ego in check. And
It
this is
reminds
where-
me of my crude oil
True,
shorts
touche.
from a month ago. You know, I made the tough money. I got flat before Thanksgiving, and then it collapsed when I was taking a day off.
Well, another one. This is another one I bought. BITO, the Bitcoin Trust.
Yeah,
If Lewis can remember yesterday, I was literally the only one buying it down low. Now I'm shorted at the get. I mean, I can't. I don't know if you could see my screen. Let me just change. I apologize. This is BITO, the Bitcoin Trust. Yesterday, if you can remember, I bought it at the low. I made whatever $1 on some decent size. Now I was buying it at 30.30, and now it's 33. Now I'm actually short a little bit. As you can see, I'm short 5,000 shares at the gap here. I'm hoping I'm not going to give it that much, but for something that makes a move from 30.33 to 33, I'm going to try to fade it a little bit. I'm not married to the position. As you see, I tried to short the gap. I'm not going to give it much, but now I'm trying with. What bothers me, and I apologize if I'm going on tangents at the VIX, is that the VIX tells me that these moves are not they're not volatile. They're just going up and staying there. There are not reversals happening. You know what I mean?
Not today.
So the VIX is volatility that it measures moves.
Yeah.
Let's look at Label. I don't know if I'm pulling up the same chart today. Label. I mean, the stock is at 38 and went to 39. The futures are going bonkers, but to go from 38 to 39 and I'm on I don't think they're not giving you volatility. In other words, if you get caught, people are chasing. That's all.
Yeah, I record put buying last week. So they're going to probably try and fry them into the December expiration is what I'm thinking. Maybe we hold up into then. I'd like to, if you could pull up the Apple chart, a widely held chart by
Apple,
all of America. And it's been the strongest chart, one of the strongest parts of the NASDAQ 100 for the last several weeks. And we're at new highs up here. It's 170. And, I just want, something I teach is a 3-drive formation, and we might get to 75 or so, but, you never go broke taking profits. And if you recall, Mike, Apple was late to the party, but then once it got going, it really caught up with everything. And this little 3-drive and euphoria in Apple, I would take something off the table if I was long. Well, in case it turns into a 3-drive reversal pattern.
Well, personally, it's arguable at this point. I said, and this is what I posted this morning. And by the way, over the last 6 months, 4 stocks, Microsoft, Apple, Nevada, and Google have generated 70% of the S&P's return, not even technology, 70%. So I'll get back to your question. Apple, in my opinion, it's arguable. I think that's a flight to safety. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so people are just going into some, and why would any stock be considered a flight to safety?
Because
stocks aren't a flight to safety.
A stock that pays a hefty dividend.
All right.
A stock that is as thickly traded as it does.
All right.
And a stock that basically, at the very worst, has 10%, maybe 15% pullbacks.
Okay.
So that's
okay. So
that's my answer.
In the stock universe, it's a flight to quality.
What's your answer, Coach?
Flight to quality to me is 90-day T-bills. I'm old school, so that means no risk. You basically you're not out there long or short anything. You're just sitting in paper because you don't want to assume any risk. So that to me is flight to quality. Treasury
I understand.
bills.
But that, maybe I'm getting it. Maybe only maybe it used to be that.
I'm just so old school, Mike.
No, it used to be. It went there, and then I think it gravitated to Exxon. Exxon used to be what they called the big bank. That used to be the flight to safety because of the dividend. Now I do think it's Apple.
Someone showed me some oil shares, and with the way that oil and natural gas got cracked, so the majors hardly gave up anything. And I think you were showing that last week.
I was
too,
and I showed it about PXD, the best of breeds.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at oil.
They're going to new highs. I know crude WTI is bounced.
Well, we'll look at USO, if you will. So we can say that's arguably what, 10% of more than 15% off the high at one point, give or take.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the best of breeds, and these aren't arguable. Is Fang, the other Fang, approaching a year high? PXD.
Yeah. Nice.
Devon Energy.
Yeah.
Look at that one.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
what's the other one? FAND and COP.
This really speaks to best of breed, meaning that if, its underlying asset is getting cracked for 25% and they take nothing out of a stock, that's resiliency.
It is. And you know what? That might have been a tip off of the market, coach, because as we always say, and you edified it, and I keep asking you, is that stocks lead the commodity. But you know what? Maybe the commodity didn't catch up, but the stock certainly followed the market to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you've been gutting out miners. They look like they want to turn now, Mike.
I do agree.
ahead.
I took a little position this morning in GDXJ. I took a shot. You know what? FCX is the one. It's not really a miner, but you want to get into that sector, or at least you want to cheat. You should get an FCX.
Freeport.
Yeah, you should get it. If that's the one.
You got a little copper in there too.
Well, at least technically that's the one to play. But the other ones are poor. BHP's poor. Rio's not doing that well.
This is only a trade, Mike.
No. I agree.
I'm not looking for $2,000 gold yet.
I reevaluated. You know what? I reevaluated it this morning too, and I didn't know what to think. I don't know what to think. It has no interest to me. It went from to the center of the screen to the bottom left corner of the screen. The golds. Yeah. That's what they do every once in a while.
Yeah, I do think there will be a major buying opportunity setting up. I'm looking for eventually GDX to trade around 27, 26. And I think that's going to be, if it gets there, I'll back up my wheelbarrow.
Wow, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. So what else is catching your interest? I know the, EVs, are they still, the flavor of the week?
You know what? Are they still the flavor of the week? I just think that they're a little, well, NIO is not the flavor of the week. Let's look at the other ones that we like. We like Fisker. That bounced off the 200-day. We like Long Island, New York.
Okay. We're looking at your Twitter page, right?
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay.
We look at Long Island, New York, bounced right off the 200-day.
Yeah.
From 27. I think that's profit taking. I don't think that's I think that's profit taking.
The decline or the bounce?
The decline.
Okay. Yeah.
Lucid could have taken LCID at an SEC subpoena yesterday, and that literally could have kiboshed everything. And the stock was trading at 38. It closed at 46. So I thought that was a pretty resilient close. Tesla, the jury's still out. That's range bound. I wouldn't, just trade the range. That's all I'm going to say. EVs, TAN. Let's look at solars. RUN, not doing any well. Fizzler. Which ones do I like? CSIQ. Solars, maybe there are. Maybe
I hear the home builders are still, continuing to climb. They've had kind of a benign interest rate environment, new highs across the board, and a lot of home builders. Huh?
You know what? Lennar came out with Goldman upgraded Lennar the other day. I was long Pulte Homes for a long time just because I thought it was a little bit of a laggard. And by the way, trading lesson, it is a laggard, and it showed it's true. I mean, I bought it at the 200-day. I thought right here, this was the day with the volume.
Yeah.
I thought Pulte Homes was going to catch up, and today it let me down.
There's a reason why it,
and you should have been buying Lennar.
Stay cheap, right?
You should have been buying Toll.
Buy the strength, fade the weakness.
That's correct.
Okay. Any other sectors come to mind, Mike, that you're looking at going forward this week? I want to ask you a little bit about December. I had that expression, and people make fun of me. I have all these expressions. The Bears feast on Thanksgiving and the Bulls on Christmas. I know you think that's malarkey too, and it worked out pretty good for Thanksgiving. Probably a lot of people think new highs in the S&Ps and NASDAQ are a layup into next year. Think we're going to continue this rally into Christmas. We also have the Fed that week right before Christmas.
I don't, you know what?
I know.
It's certainly, we're going to have to look at Sharpies. We're going to have to look what hedge funds are doing.
Yeah.
And we're just going to predicate it upon that. Like I said, I leave it to the professionals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't, this is a market where, look what happened to me yesterday. I anticipated and I fumbled the ball. I made good money, but I was down a lot to make. No, I wasn't down a lot. I timed it correctly.
No,
I'm
you left
upset.
money on the table.
Yeah, I'm
You know what?
upset.
Don't expect perfection at the crap table. It still aggravates me too. And you know what? It's such a psychological game that even if you would have sat another day, you could always say this, I wish I would have had a bigger position on. So
No,
you
but
always have too much on when it's not working and not enough when it is. And
no, I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that. And
yeah,
thanks for the bedside, the stock bedside manner, if you will.
yeah,
It's like I said, and the reason why I'm still doing this. It's not that I think I woke up this morning thinking that I was going to change or put myself in a tax bracket. It's
right.
the fact that I might learn something that might avoid this situation or make me even better the next time it happens. That's all. I'm
Okay.
not upset. There's always another trade,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I have a fiduciary responsibility to my handful of boutique clients. Nobody's complaining by any means, but I want to do the best possible. So that's it.
I have a friend that says I don't live in would have, could have, should have land.
No, no, no. I'm listening.
Yeah, I do.
You know what my favorite word
I
is?
take vacations there.
You know what my
I
favorite
leave,
word
but I
is?
go there.
My
Huh?
favorite word is this. Next,
Yeah,
next.
mine. Oh, that's something. That's what I teach my mentees. It's the most important word for a quarterback after he throws a pick, and it's the most important word for a trader. Win, lose, or draw. It's next, isn't it?
It is.
So, Helene showing that Dow chart where it could.
This is it right
Leave.
here. Where are we
Yeah,
now? On the
yeah,
Dow, we're at
we,
3,576.
yeah. So we filled the gap.
So we're right here.
We have gapped up. So
No,
she's
this
saying
is,
it
yeah.
left an island
You know why?
underneath.
Speaking of gaps up, I want to defend myself for lack of a better term, and this is it. The reason why I sold the majority of my things yesterday is I thought there would be a turnaround Tuesday, not to be cliche,
Yeah,
but I thought yesterday was a big day. It was. I
yeah.
thought today would have been the back and fill day, and Wednesday would have been the takeoff. So
Okay.
I had an opinion and didn't trade my stocks based upon how a lot of
Your
them
rules.
traded at the high on
Your
good volume.
opinions overruled your rules.
That's right. And I apologize to anybody else here that listens to me as a teacher and a mentor. It's a hypocritical game, but we're going to get better and we're going to learn. But I thought it would be a back and fill day today.
Okay. All right. So anything you want to close with here, Mike?
No, I'm good right now. No, I just, I trade. Listen, bottom line is trade. Like I say, we always like here trade. I always post the stocks with volume and what's moving with good price action and volume.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you learned anything, don't the indices. Looking at the indices is not the way to go. Looking at because most people have been wrong doing that. Go with your individual stocks. Go with acting well, and just stick to the plan. The plan. You know what? If you initiate a trade, it's uncanny how that trade, if it's a winner right away, how it stays a winner. Usually the winning trade skills wind up to be winners right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although, that, yeah, I don't know. I can't generalize because I'm usually early.
Here are the
So,
stocks. Here are the stocks with range today. Monstrous
yeah.
ranges in Shop, NVAX,
Snow.
major ranges.
Is snow melting or a buy here?
Snow, you know what? That's why look at them. We got the P&L coming back a little bit, Coach.
Why don't we wrap it with snow since, we're only 2 weeks away from winter.
Snow
Yeah.
to buy.
Okay.
The flag right there.
All right.
Best of breed. It's had
Right.
it. Snow. And you know what? It's the ultimate compliment. I wouldn't short it.
That's right.
I mean, it did everything it would have to do. First of all, as I showed you to other stocks were hitting the 200-day moving average. This thing barely pairs to 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's above all of them.
Yeah.
So that's a buy.
Good eye, Mike.
Do you agree?
Yeah. Good eye. And the only bearish scenario would be that we don't make a new high over 400 and we turn back down before we get there. Have a reversal day down before we get there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks like a layup.
By the way, the volume wasn't even that severe. Every volume spike been down has been bought aggressively.
Yeah.
And it never, you know what? That's interesting. That's good, coach. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's possible that we put in a failing rally on a lot of these things that haven't made new highs, including the indices. In fact, that's what I'm looking for. So we'll see. I've been right. I've been wrong. It's just, it's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. Right, Mike? And
No, I learned that. That's correct. It is. You know what? And here's a chart or something of like General Motors.
yeah,
It's not the sexiest thing, but you know what? And I'm old too. But this one never broke down. Things like that. You know what I mean?
That looks like new highs for a 3.
Yeah. And I just think a lot of, Delta, these things came back. Stocks are coming back nicely.
Yeah. Some will be, sells. So the ones that do not make new highs during this period before Christmas, I'd be careful in 2022 with those issues. That's my advice.
That's my advice too. But let's look at our, so let's look at stocks at new highs, if I will, before we go. So everybody's going. So this is what I do. I like large range with 2% movers. Let's look at the high with volume. So what's at the high with volume? I'm not really interested in here because it doesn't have that much volume yet. But Retta may be interesting. What's got the volume? Near the high. SI has volume near the high. DBI, Dress Barn, makes shoes. Good range, big volume. It's up $2, good range. Zendesk, Soxel, that's an ETF. LABD is the inverse. ZS, Billy, which I should have had long last night. And Billy was all over our feed yesterday for option activity, if I will. So, that's all I'm looking at right now. But we'll tune in after lunch. New share.
You know what, Mike?
What?
If I were a rich man, yava viva viva va 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 viva viva bum. All day long I'd pity pum. Yidle diddle deedle diddle dum.
Didn't I tell you that I was going to pay instead of that I was going to pay for the singing lessons?
A little Fiddler on the Roof. Hanukkah's over. Christmas a couple weeks away. Don't worry. Hey, Mike, don't worry if you've been naughty because of what's happened to the energy markets. Santa can't afford coal this year.
Well, if he wants to, he should short BTU. That's the hedge.
Thank you, Mike, for sharing your ideas and having a giving spirit to try, what took you blood, sweat, and tears to give it away to people, to teach them what you do, to show them your whole process.
Well, like I said, we're going on a little bit on a tangent.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and it's a process.
Yeah.
And it's not the process that I made up. It's, it's a combination of a lot of major pros that I try to just articulate. It's not my process. I'm just trying to everybody, to let people sit down and be able to take money out of the market predicated upon what I think are major professional tools upon quality and not quantity. That's all.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Okay. Have a good day, everyone. And cheers.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Good hunting.